Ever wondered how a simpler life could affect your pocket? Well, let's talk about that. We live in a world where more often feels like better. More clothes, more gadgets, more square footage. But what if we told you that less could actually be more? That's right, today we're delving into the world of minimalism and simplicity, and how they could potentially lead to a healthier bank balance. So what is minimalism? Well, it's a lifestyle that helps you declutter your life, focusing only on what's necessary. It's about reducing excess and finding freedom in living with less. But minimalism isn't just about having fewer things. It's about leading a simpler life, one that's free from the constant desire to acquire more and more. Now you might be asking, how does this connect to my finances? Well, think about it. Every time you decide not to purchase that new phone or that trendy pair of shoes, you're saving money. Every time you choose to cook at home instead of eating out, you're cutting costs. The power of simplicity lies in the potential to make these small savings, which over time can add up to significant amounts. But we're not just talking about cutting costs, we're talking about a lifestyle change that could lead to financial freedom. By reducing your needs, you're not only saving money, but also reducing financial stress. You're no longer living paycheck to paycheck, trying to keep up with the latest trends. Instead, you're living within your means, with a clear focus on what truly matters. Sounds great, doesn't it? But we understand that it might be a bit challenging to imagine. So to help you visualize this concept better, we're going to share some real-life stories of people who have saved a substantial amount by embracing simplicity. These are people just like you and me, who decided to take the plunge and found that the water is indeed warmer on the simpler side of life. Now, let's delve into some real-life stories of people who have saved a substantial amount by embracing simplicity. Introducing Mike, a previous metropolitan inhabitant who resolved to challenge his luxurious lifestyle and begin a journey towards minimalism. Mike, formerly associated with his city life, fancy urban loft, and extravagant spending patterns, found himself trapped in a relentless cycle of earning and spending, with hardly anything left over each month. However, a chance encounter with a minimalist book ignited a change. Fascinated by the idea of living with less, he decided it was time for a shift. Mike's minimalist journey kicked off with an extensive decluttering of his living space. He meticulously sifted through every possession, retaining only those items that were necessary or held sentimental value. The staggering amount of surplus items he had amassed over the years left him astounded. This decluttering phase marked the critical first step on his minimalistic path, enabling him to see how much of his clutter resulted from impulsive purchases. Next was the brave decision to sell his pricey apartment and choose a smaller, more affordable home in the suburban area. This move was not just about saving money, but a step towards embracing simplicity and tranquility. He swapped his personal vehicle for a public transportation pass, reducing not just his expenses, but also his environmental impact. Mike's minimalistic journey also influenced his domestic habits. He took up home cooking, a change that decreased his expenses, boosted his health, and introduced fulfillment to his everyday routine. He learned to prioritize value over volume, purchasing fewer but higher quality items that were designed to last. His shopping habits underwent a transformation as well. He no longer derived happiness from retail therapy or felt that to keep up with the latest trends. Instead, he found joy in simpler activities like reading a book, walking in the park, or savoring a meal he had prepared himself. With reduced expenses and more mindful spending, Mike's savings started to increase. He finally managed to set up an emergency fund, something he had always found challenging. This newfound financial security even gave him the freedom to delve into investments, a realm previously inaccessible with his old lifestyle. Mike's road to minimalism wasn't devoid of obstacles. There were times he yearned for his previous life. However, he understood that the tranquility and financial stability that minimalism provided far outweighed any temporary pleasure his old lifestyle could offer. Mike's story demonstrates how minimalism can pave the way for not just financial independence, but also a life of satisfaction and purpose. It's not just about frugality. It's about leading a life that... Let's now turn our attention to Sarah, a single mother who embraced minimalism to stretch her budget. Sarah, like many of us, found herself caught in a cycle of spending on things she didn't need. She was living in a house that was too big, filled with possessions that didn't add value to her life. One day, she decided to make a change. She chose to live a simpler life, to focus on what truly mattered to her. Sarah's first step was to downsize her home. She moved from a 4-bedroom house to a 2-bedroom apartment, reducing her rent and utility bills significantly. This wasn't an easy decision, but she knew it was the right one. The smaller space meant less room for unnecessary items, forcing her to decide what she truly needed and what she could let go of. Next, she started to reduce her possessions. She sold, donated, or recycled things she didn't use or love. From clothes to kitchen gadgets, she scrutinized every item. It was a challenging process, but it was also liberating. She found that the less she owned, the less she needed to worry about. Her home became a place of peace and tranquility, free from clutter and distractions. Sarah also began to focus on quality over quantity. Instead of buying cheap items that would soon need to be replaced, she invested in things that would last. This not only saved her money in the long run, but also reduced waste and clutter in her home. The impact of these changes on her savings was remarkable. She was able to save more money, reduce her stress, and live a more fulfilling life. She found joy in the simple things, like spending time with her child, reading a book, or enjoying a home-cooked meal. She discovered that she didn't need a lot to be happy. Sarah's experience proves that simplicity can be a powerful tool for financial management. By reducing our needs and focusing on what truly matters, we too can save money and live a more fulfilling life. Inspired by John and Sarah's stories. Here are some tips to help you embrace simplicity. First, let's start with decluttering. It's not just about cleaning up. It's about removing the unnecessary from your life. Take a moment to look around your home. Do you see items that you haven't used in more than a year? If yes, then it might be time to let them go. Sell them, donate them, recycle them, but free yourself from the burden of unused possessions. Next, let's talk about downsizing. It's not about living in a tiny home, unless you want to, of course. It's about understanding that bigger isn't always better. Do you really need a 4-bedroom house for a family of 3, or a car that guzzles gas like a thirsty camel? Consider how much you could save by choosing smaller, more efficient options. Lastly, focus on needs over wants. Do you need that latest smartphone, or do you just want it? Is it a necessity, or is it just a desire sparked by clever marketing? Understanding the difference between needs and wants can help you make smarter purchases, saving you money in the long run. And there you have it. Declutter, downsize, and focus on needs over wants. 3 simple steps towards a simpler, more fulfilling life. Remember, the journey to simplicity starts with a single step. Simplicity and minimalism, as we've seen, are more than just lifestyle choices. They're strategies for financial freedom. Remember John? His small home and modest lifestyle allowed him to retire early. And Sarah? By decluttering, she's saving hundreds every month. Their stories highlight the financial power of simplicity. It's not about deprivation, but making intentional choices that add value to your life. Less stuff, less stress, more savings. So, are you ready to tap into the financial power of simplicity?